On this episode of the Bottomless Pit.
This is the first time you talked to her, right?
I spoke to her on the phone. Oh, you're Hassan, the guy who's going to join the British Army. Well, you are a baby killer. How dare you betray your own kind? Whoa, I haven't even been to Iraq yet. Let me go.
I kind of want to know about the time where you fell from the helicopter. How bad was it? I remember
It was actually really bad. It was so bad. Irrelevant of the challenge, never give up.
Yeah.
Just don't give up. Just don't give up. Shooting at us, basically. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what was that? But at the time, I had a grenade launcher attached to my weapon.
Oh my God.
Okay? According to my system, there is another Hassan Fawaz who's on our terrorist watch list.
Oh my God.
And you think, I said to him, and you think that this other Hassan Fawaz is just going to willingly come to America knowing full well that he might be on the terrorist list?
Hello, welcome back to another dip into the Bottomless Pit with your host Bilal Fawaz and special guests today, Hassan Aiden Fawaz and Adam Fawaz. Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Hello, back.
So Hassan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Alright guys, so I'm related obviously to Bilal and Adam. I'm one of their elder cousins. I'd like to classify myself in terms of the family. I'm a bit of the different.
The outside, the elephant in the room.
Yeah, not so much the outside. Just like the different. Let's leave it at the different.
The different.
Like they're all the white sheep, and I'm like not black, but maybe like blue or pink or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
The special.
It's like that random guy basically in the family.
Yeah. The crazy uncle.
Yeah.
So, Hassan, you've been in the army for how many years? Well, no, you're retired now, but you were in the army.
Yeah,
For how many years?
Oh, I'm a veteran now, but I served from March 06 to 2015, so just shy of 10 years. Just under 10 years.
So 10 years in the army, that's a long
For Her
time.
Majesty's Armed Forces, the British Army.
Yeah, not the Lebanese army guy.
Yeah.
You have to go back to do your service.
What, to the Lebanese Army?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the
Lebanese army is now having a mandatory military service.
Oh, here's an interesting fact for you. So, at the time when I was born, actually, I was meant to have done that national service.
In Lebanon?
But because obviously I was born here in the UK, I wasn't really needed. That's why they didn't register me in Lebanon at the time. Obviously, I'm registered now, but at the time, they didn't register me because they didn't want me to do national service.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's pretty good.
I definitely didn't. I'm glad I didn't.
So 2006, that means you were at the time during like...
You're a teenager.
Yeah, so I was 17. I was 17 when I actually enlisted. It was just before my birthday, before my 18th. I was still like... Maybe I should just like say it from the beginning. So obviously coming back from South Africa, because I spent my teens in South Africa.
Yeah.
And yeah, so after South Africa, I flew back to the UK, wanted to join the British Army. I'll tell you guys a bit later why. But yeah, I just enlisted straight up, went to the careers office. 2 weeks later, started training.
But you joined at the height of, was it the Afghan war, right?
Both. At the time, Iraq was
and Afghan.
midway through its crisis, and then I think Afghan kicked off in 2001 and Iraq in 2003. So I joined in 06, so we were halfway there, basically. I wasn't at the beginning, but I caught it in the middle and the end. So I served in Iraq in 2008, and then I did 2 tours of Afghanistan, 2010 and 2013.
2013.
Do you know why they call it a tour? Why is it classified as a tour?
Because I suppose you're there for a period of time. I never really know. We always called it as a tour. It's your operational tour.
It's not like they're a band that's like just touring around Afghanistan playing. Insane.
Totally. Playing music to local.
It's definitely not as luxurious. No, no.
Yeah. No, it wasn't quite like that. It was definitely not luxurious.
So you've told us the story before, but I think it's quite a good like starter story to get to know like the way you think as well. There's a story of when basically they dropped you off. I don't know how to say it without spoiling the story, but they dropped you off in the middle of the forest, and you basically had like an hour or so.
During training.
Yeah, during training.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind saying that. Without spoiling it, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
You didn't, so don't worry. So whilst I was doing some training, this training was not really like hardcore training. Basically, it was like a bit of a game. So all it was is they took the whole troop and they said, all right, it's a bit like hide and seek, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not hide and seek. It's obviously hide and seek for grown-ups. So what we needed to do was we're all getting dropped off at a different location with nothing on us other than ourselves. So we're just in uniform, literally boots, trousers, shirt. That's it.
Yeah.
And we needed to survive as long as possible out in the field whilst we were being hunted by, not really hunted, but,
Tracked down.
we were being basically tracked down by our staff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was obviously nervous. Everyone was nervous. You don't want to be the first guy because whilst you are waiting for everybody else to get caught, you're busy doing exercising. So like physical exercising.
Yeah.
So you want to basically try and be as hidden as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
And try and last the longest. We all obviously like kind of like shitting ourselves, basically. We just don't want to get caught by the staff because the last thing you want to be doing is if some guy ends up lasting for like 3 or 4 hours out hidden and the staff haven't caught him, then you will literally be exercising for 3 or 4 hours. So I tried to play it smart. So I had planned a genius little idea. Okay, so I knew the staff obviously had their own vehicles and I knew that everyone was like literally, so I was one of the first. I always like to be the first. I'm very competitive as a person. So I was like one of the first on the truck. And the reason being was a genius little idea, which I'm coming down to. When the truck is empty and everyone starts dispersing and you're on that timer, I was the last to leave because I'm the first in the truck because you're talking like it's a Bedford truck, like these big ones. Like a bus, basically. And you fill it up from the front or fill it up from the back to the front. So obviously you're getting out the back. So I basically was one of the last, I think I was maybe the last guy to jump off the truck to start running to hide. So I planned to basically not go into like the wilderness and try and get caught. I stayed exactly where I was, except I was under the truck.
Yeah, but what if the truck? What if the truck started moving? You would have been screwed.
Well, then I'll just have to hold on to the truck. But I knew it was an exercise, so the truck's not gonna move. So
how big is this area we're talking about? We're talking like
it's the
couple of.
You're talking kilometers, mate.
It's the wilderness, Adam. It's the open wilderness.
Yeah, it's basically an open air ground. But obviously, this was at the time I was actually in Germany. It wasn't during my training. It was like on an exercise in Germany. So, yeah, it was literally in the middle of like forest, and Germany's full of forest, especially where we were based. Yeah. So yeah, I just ended up hiding, and the saddest part was I could see the guys doing the exercising, and I was literally the last person to get caught because I actually crawled out of the truck from under the truck because I counted how many were. I think there's like 33 of us on the exercise. So I was like, well, if there's 32 or 31, I'll join. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, but wasn't there also a guy? Because they took it really like for seriously. Like, what were their tactics? The other people. Didn't you say one guy did like a full on like camouflage, put like dirt on his face?
Yeah, of course. There's like loads of people that were literally hiding. Some people were making like themselves as a tree. Some people were literally trying to be under the roots. Some people were just there was like literally anything you could try and blend into the environment and not get caught. It's literally hide and seek.
Yeah,
But
And
extreme
how long
hide
were
and
you
seek.
waiting for?
I think I was out there for like, I was under that truck for maybe like 2.5 hours, I reckon.
Oof.
And all I was doing was literally standing still and just staring at the people being caught one by one as they're coming to do the exercises. And I'm just smiling, watching them.
I would have laughed. Like I
And
would have been caught like
I
in
couldn't,
this.
I was smiling on the inside. And one of my friends did notice me, and luckily he didn't say anything.
Oh my
So,
god, yeah.
and I can obviously hear, well, I can't really make out, I can make out faint sounds that people were still looking for me. So eventually I just crawled out of the truck, and then the staff were raging at me. They were raging at me because I outsmarted them. So I ended up basically still doing some exercises because that's the army for you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was bigged up, if you know what I mean. Like I was complimented. They said, okay, well, he was thinking with his brain, basically, instead of all you Muppets who decided, to run around and try and be a tree or something.
Yeah.
You were working smart, not hard.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what I did. I just tried to outsmart everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
story.
It is a good story.
There's a good one.
I kind of want to know about the time where you fell from the helicopter. Like, what happened? What led up to that? And, like, how bad was it? Because I remember...
It was actually really bad. It was so bad. So basically, this
Is
was
that why you
my
left?
second tour of Afghanistan. No, it wasn't.
You're
So it
so
was on my
embarrassed.
second tour of Afghanistan,
Yeah.
and we were doing a night operation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the night operation, they you're wearing your night vision, okay, but you obviously get briefed up on where you're going and where you're landing and things like that. So, and you get told when you land to go left or go right of the helicopter because then
Yeah.
it's easier. So it's just like, okay. Now it's a different thing when it's nighttime, number
Yeah,
one,
pitch
and number
black.
two, the helicopters never landed there. It's the first time the helicopter's actually landing there. It is an operation. So when the helicopter's landing, the wheels don't touch the floor. You just need to get out as quick as possible.
Mm.
Like it just literally hovers above the ground, maybe a meter or meter and a half the back. And then you just literally jump out. Okay. So when we landed, it was like a hay field, like a field full of hay or lucerne or something, like literally like grass cut, long grass that was cut. So it was literally, so it was like grass everywhere from obviously the helicopter. So I couldn't really see, but I knew from the operation that I needed to turn left. So off I go. I was like, okay. I jumped down out of the helicopter. I turned left. What they didn't say, and obviously they couldn't pick it up on the imagery, was there was a ditch.
Oh my god.
So I jumped basically into this ditch. Yeah. And I say a ditch, it's not really a ditch, it's more like a trench because it's like a irrigation gutters for like the Afghans. But luckily it was winter, so it was dry. So
oh my god.
as I jumped and I landed, like literally, I obviously fell on my knees and automatically I fell forward, but I'm holding my weapon with both arms and the sight of the weapon hit my jaw.
Oh.
And literally, I mean, I know I'm wearing night vision and I know I'm staring up into the sky, but I was literally seeing stars.
Yeah,
in every way.
I can imagine.
I was like, literally. And to this day, I haven't fully recovered from that. I got basically a hairline fracture that day.
Ah, man.
Exactly.
Wait, so did you continue on
really...
with the operation or like what happened?
Yeah, I had to. I wasn't like injured. I wasn't like man down. I still had to
man down
on
by falling in a ditch.
They don't really.
Oh no!
It's not. they're not like the type. The army is not the type of place you get to like kind of sit one out. You have to keep going, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
basically. And
Right.
especially with the people that I was working with, these weren't just like your regular soldiers. They were just like really, really like cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I literally, luckily, before you actually leave, you got to wait for the helicopters to go like completely out of sight before you actually move.
Yeah.
So I had like a bit of time to just actually catch my breath. But it was such an experience. Like I said, even to this day, if I open my mouth too wide, it literally clicks, and it's because of that. I don't know if I ever bid you
Talking
yet
about your
or tried.
colleagues, did you have any like characters during the army? I remember once you told us a story about the grenade in the backpack guy.
No. That was the story of one of the guys who got given an award.
Yeah,
He
it was
was
like
on
a
my tour.
It
purple
was a
one.
Purple Heart.
No, you don't get. I don't think you get a Purple Heart in the British Army. No, I think he got.
Oh.
I don't know what he actually got. I don't know if
Too
he
many
got mentioned.
American films.
Yeah, it's the Americans. It's an American honor. That I think he got.
Yeah.
I think he got. I know he got an award of some kind, but basically, what he'd done is there was a grenade being thrown, and obviously going to explode.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So what he did was he put his bag, which had this radio equipment, but like the bag weighs a ton. Okay, it doesn't weigh a ton, but it weighs a lot, and
Yeah.
it's extremely strong.
Heavy military
stuff. So he jumped on it. Obviously, he's got his body armor. So he jumped with his back on the grenade and just hoped for the best.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the
man.
grenade blew up, and it did. He walked up fine. He carried on even with the mission.
Wow. That's
Well, he basically put his life so to prevent his friends from dying.
But isn't it the way the grenade works is that when it explodes into like many different bits that like just shoot outwards.
When a grenade explodes, the first thing you should actually do in the event of any explosion, to be honest, is
On the
actually
floor.
get on the floor and be as low as possible. So I want you to think of, let's say, like a triangle, but upside down, if you know what I mean. So when a grenade explodes, it goes upwards to the right and to the left, but it doesn't go like low to the side.
I see what you
Those
mean.
are different types of grenades. Those are like mines, for instance. They are mines that are literally designed to, like, in Afghanistan, some of the challenges that we came across was like they used old Russian mines, and those were designed to literally injure you by taking your leg off.
Oh my god.
They would literally, the when you step on the mine, the mine would pop up and explode, but it would explode
Just lower half.
horizontally
Yeah.
and just take your legs. Yeah.
They're not. I heard that the landmines are like illegal in warfare or something like that. Like they stop using them in warfare.
I believe something like that. Yeah, I think something.
I mean,
think it
nothing's
is
illegal
I
in
think
war.
It's against the Geneva. I'm not so sure, to be honest.
But like during like say World War One, World War Two, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, but I mean, there are countries still full of mines. I think Angola, actually, in Africa at the minute, half of it is full of mines. I know Prince Harry was there recently. He actually walked across a minefield. Obviously, I'm sure they made it safe, but there was a picture saying,
Yeah.
whilst he was visiting Africa, him and his missus.
Mm.
Yeah, but there are loads of countries. Even Vietnam, to this date, has loads of mines. I mean, they find some unexploded bombs. Even I think they found one recently in London. So yeah,
So like going back to the question about characters, like is there any specific like characters that stand out?
I think the whole like if I look back at my troop, we were all different characters. Yeah, there were just so many. There's just so many to talk to. Everyone had their own unique personality. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like yourselves. Like everyone has a different personality. But we, as a troop, I'll never forget it. Obviously, M Troop. They were just fantastic guys. Everyone had their story. You had the guy that was the pretty boy. You had the funny boy. You had the serious boy. You have the leader. You have the competitive guy. You've got the geek.
So you can say the army has all, walks of life that come into it.
Yeah.
It's not just the stereotypical, like, super trooper type people, is it?
No, of course not. No, everyone has a story. Everyone has a reason why they're there.
Mm.
Who were you?
There's always labels. What were you, the label?
Adam, you're gonna like this answer. But I was known as the Arab.
The Arab. Abu Rassat.
The Arab.
Yeah. Say again?
Abu Rassat.
Hassan the Arab.
Well, they don't call you by your first name; they call you by your surname. So, in order for them
Really?
not to say Fawaz all the time, so they just nickname
Yeah.
me Faz.
Faz.
Faz, yeah.
Nice.
All right, so now to the main question. Why did you, Hassan Fawaz, join the army?
Yeah.
Why did I join the army? Okay, this is the legit answer. Okay.
Yeah, no bullshit.
And no bullshit. No, of
Unfiltered.
course
No
not.
filter.
But basically, I was a very bad teenager. Like in South Africa, my grades were not the best. I'll be genuinely honest. It's not to say I'm a stupid guy. On the contrary, I think quite smart.
On the contrary, I'm very, very smart.
Like I know my IQ level is quite high anyway. So
Yeah,
sure. But I was not in a good place.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
parents are
understand.
divorced, so I was a bit rebellious to my stepfather. But he was ex-army. And when I looked around me at all the men that were standing around and their lives, who had stories to tell and friends to talk to and life experiences, and that's what my definition of success was. Success for me was never go and chase the money. Okay,
Yeah.
that was not what made me. That's not what I classified as success at the time, anyways. But I looked at these men, and they were successful men. Everything that they achieved it. So we were all sitting at my stepfather's bar in our house, and we chilling at the bar, and my mom was there, my stepdad, and two of his friends. And this is a really sad story, also in a way. So basically, at the time, like I said, I was a very bad teenager. I was listening to them talk war stories. I said, "Oh, I'd love to do that shit. I'll easily do that shit." So my stepdad said to me, "Okay, well, if you do that shit or this shit, or if you do join the army, I promise you, my boy, I will fly the day that you pass out and become a soldier." And I was like, "Okay, that day will come. I bet you it does." But I didn't think any of it.
Yeah.
And we all shook hands that day. Okay, that was the promises that they made to me. If I graduated from the military academy,
Yeah.
it would be there on my graduation day. Okay. So I was just like, okay, cool. Yeah, I finished my final A-level exam. I didn't even have my results, equivalent of A-levels in South Africa. And I came back from my final exam, and my mom said to me, "How was it?" I said, "Yeah, it's good." "Well, what are you going to do now?" I was like, "I don't know, I'll figure it out." Especially at 17, you think you know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just like, yeah, the world's my oyster, I'll figure something out. So my stepdad said to me, "Sit down, boy." I said to him, "Okay, what the hell is this about?" My mom says to me, "We've booked you a one-way ticket to England." I'm like, "Why?" "I don't care what you go do. You can just go sort your life out. It's as simple as that. Go uni. You said something about the army. Go join the army then." It's like, "You guys are serious?" I said, "Yeah," and they showed me the ticket. So, yeah, that's the legit story. So in a way, I joined the army to kind of help me as a person, because I was a very bad teenager, like smoking weed and doing really, really bad things like I shouldn't have done. And yeah, I was hanging around with the wrong crowd. And South Africa is still, it's rough. It is a rough country. I don't care what anyone says. It is rough. It's you the survival of the fittest in that country. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I joined.
Oh, sorry. Continue. Sorry.
Came, landed. Sorry, I came. I landed straight to London. Your half sister actually was the first person that I had met when I'd landed back in England. Geordie, she picked me up at the airport.
Nice.
I had no idea what she looked like. I was just expecting. My mom said to me, "There's a girl, a lady that's gonna. She might look like your sister. Is just going to come in and just pick you up." I'm like, okay, find a woman that looks like you.
To be fair, she does look quite
You
like
guys
you.
do look quite
Yeah,
like
quite alike.
Yeah.
weird.
So yeah, she picked me up. I went the following day to Holborn in central London. There's a careers office there. I walked in there, started my application straight away. Obviously, it was very difficult being away from
Family.
all the people that I love.
Mm.
You know, my mom,
Yeah.
my brother, you know, my friends. I've just landed in a complete
It's a different world,
country.
isn't it?
Yeah, you know, come from South Africa, straight in the middle of central London. And remember that I told you there were 4 people at the bar?
Yeah.
The day I graduated, I phoned my mom the day before. She was in South Africa. So I was not expecting anybody at my graduation. Like I was just that one guy who was not expecting anybody. True as God, after the parade, here comes my mom and my stepdad. And one guy was working in Iraq at the time as a private constructor, flew in for 12 hours
Wow.
and then flew back to go back to work because he made
Damn,
a promise.
that's dedication.
His name was Rusty. He passed away, bless him.
God bless
He's such a cool guy. Such a cool guy.
Wait,
And
so
that's the
so this
story.
is when you graduated from being a soldier
Basic,
in the
basic
army.
training. Yeah, so when you complete your basic training, you're classified as a soldier then.
Oh, awesome.
And that's the story. That is the 100% legit story.
All right, a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you change anything? If you went back to that time when you were 17, would you change anything?
No, I'm the type of guy who doesn't believe in regrets. I don't regret anything that I've done.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
so,
Never look back.
it makes sense.
yeah,
Like,
I don't.
yeah.
I don't.
All right, so Hassan, I kind of want to know a bit more about your stories in Afghanistan and Iraq. Obviously, you served 10 years almost in the army, so you must have at least something to say about them. Some good memories or bad ones.
I won't talk about the bad.
Yeah,
I can talk about one. I can talk about one bad one, and then I'll cover the good stories. The good stories was Iraq was not far off playing Call of Duty. and I genuinely mean that, by the way. Like, if you look at the gear and the equipment and the way that people move in the campaign modes of especially Modern Warfare,
You say it's really
was
realistic.
what Iraq was like. Yeah, it's pretty good. It is pretty good. It's not 100% there, but I'd say it's nearly there. So, and obviously I love playing Call of Duty. Everybody loves playing Call of Duty. It's as simple as that, or majority of people. So yeah, I really enjoyed that element of it. That Iraq was literally Call of Duty. Afghanistan was more like World War One, I believe. If there was such a thing, obviously I didn't do World War One because you're fighting in fields, whereas in Iraq you're fighting in buildings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the trenches and everything, like you were saying.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously Afghanistan's much more. I mean, Iraq was modern. You got to remember, Iraq is modern. It's modern.
It is a modern place.
As far as Arab countries go, that's under Saddam. Even it was a very good country.
It's not just those like deserts with tents in it, like people portray.
That was Afghanistan. You see what I'm saying?
More of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So Iraq was like literally Call of Duty, and it was so cool.
What was your primary weapon?
It's a British weapon. It's called the SA-80.
SA-80.
And then I had a pistol, which was a German pistol. It's called a Sig Sauer.
Oh, the SA-80,
And
isn't that like a light machine gun? Isn't it?
no, it's an assault rifle. So,
Bilal said he
No,
but
thinks Bilal thinks he's like a weapons dealer.
No,
He
no,
played
because
Call of Duty.
no, because just it looks similar. It looks similar to the SA or something like that. It's a light machine gun. Obviously, all my knowledge comes
it's
from Call of
another
Duty. So
Bilal, I think he'll know more than you.
yeah, obviously he knows more than me.
I'm guessing the guy with 10 years of army experience is gonna know more than you about the
Alright,
Put it
sorry,
this way.
sorry for interrupting. Go on.
Put it this way. It's a bit like and trying to compare it to a weapon in Call of Duty. I actually can't. It's got a single fire mode and an automatic fire.
Oh, it's the FAL.
No,
It's like a
it's
FAL.
similar to the FAL. Yeah, it's similar to the FAL.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and the sad story was, and this will actually touch on Adam's political views and things like that, was actually we were in an operation and a person got killed, and the girl was literally, I was the one speaking to them because obviously I'm an Arabic speaker. The guy was a very bad man. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain to her, and she could have literally been like speaking to one of my cousins, one of my female cousins. She was crying and she was crying, and that image I will take with me to my grave probably, and that's when I actually started smoking. Yeah,
I can imagine
trying
like
to explain to her
how
why,
traumatizing
with her father.
as well. Yeah. And like obviously she sees her father as like a good guy, and like, you know, as everyone would, like usually most people at least would see, like, you know, their father as basically their superhero, and like these foreigners come in and come into their homeland and like start shooting them, but like little do they know about like what's actually behind the scenes.
What he does, yeah, it's a bit like a drug dealer basically, you know. And the girl only sees the money, and the kids only see the money, but they don't know what the actual father does.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah.
Do you feel like you know, because you know, this is just like one of the many stories like what soldiers have to see when they're, you know, doing their tours and stuff like that. Do you feel like the army, because obviously it can affect you psychologically, do you feel like the army is like caters to
gives
like,
enough support
talking about problems like that?
Yeah.
So PTSD is a massive problem, especially for veterans like myself. And some people obviously react to stress or trauma in different ways. I mean, I've gone through. I went through that, and I was fine, and I'm still fine with regards to what I did and what I've seen.
Yeah.
Some people, it would affect them in different ways. Now, when I was in, to be honest with you, it was not really like a big thing, and it is with great sadness that so many soldiers are actually, even to this day, actually committing suicide because of some of the things that they've done. I mean, like I said, one of my friends, he got shot in the leg. He left the army straight away, like literally the minute we landed back from Afghanistan. He put in his resignation and he left. And then he ended up rejoining a couple of years later. But he went through severe trauma, and now there's like loads of facilities to help veterans, especially.
Yeah. Especially in that line of work, there's a lot of trauma
and some of the guys. The guys that I know, they've seen some really horrible stuff. Worse than me, and every soldier has a story, you know. And I mean, I'm on these Facebook groups, you know, and every day there's somebody who's unfortunately going through some rough patch, whether he's looking for a job, whether he's drinking himself, you know. There's many guys out there that are struggling with readjusting even to civvy life.
Yeah.
You know, it could be even like paying your council tax, for instance. Even these little things, they just mount up and they put pressure on the guy, you know, and he's gone from going serving, being potentially shot at, being potentially killed, to readjusting into, paying your gas and electric bills, which is free in the army, obviously, you don't pay for that. Getting his food, he has to pay for it. There's millions of things that the responsibility actually as a civilian that you think is normal, but to a guy who's just joined, like me, who joined when he was 17, doesn't know anything about the stuff.
Yeah, because you skipped that stage.
No, well, we just didn't pay for it. It's as simple as that. It was
a lot
all
more
included. I mean,
different responsibilities, because obviously you had other you had to worry about checking your shoulder and in the car and stuff.
Your uniform has to be kit.
Yeah.
There's millions. There were other priorities. There was just another complete life, and it's just changing your life basically. It's as simple as that. And some soldiers struggle with it.
Yeah, I also think just from seeing your experiences as well, and what I've heard from you, I don't think there's enough support for veterans, especially coming back, obviously into society, but not just that, but also trying to find a job and applying their skills that they've learned in the army into modern day jobs. Yeah, tradable skills.
Yeah, transferable skills.
Transferable.
Right word. Yeah. Look, they're working very hard on it, and it got better and better as I was leaving too.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in your final year, there's something called resettlement package that you get, so you can have access to, let's say, open university. There's a lot of help out there, and the guys just need to just communicate with it. I mean, I have a very close, not very close friend, but I know a guy who I was very close to. He started his own construction business in the north, here in the UK, and he only employs veterans. He trains them up. He says to them, "I'll train you up. You'll pay them a salary," and they just do that. And he only does it for veterans. That's his thing. And his work is immaculate. Obviously, he trains them right. They kind of still have that military instilled onto them.
Yeah.
Now there is more support out there, but the guys and if anyone hears this podcast that's ex-military and he needs any help, man, just get in touch. It's as simple as that. Also, check out Warriors RV. It's a Facebook group. Plenty of soldiers on there. Anywhere you are in the UK.
There's always support out there. So, and you're never alone. Other people have different, similar experiences.
Yeah, everyone has a story, man.
Yeah. So we have a guest again joining us today. Well, to be honest, I shouldn't even call him a guest anymore. Ahmed El-Ashry.
How you guys doing?
We're good.
All right, man.
A bit late to the party, but Egyptian timing. Ahmed, do you have any questions for an ex-military badass like Hassan?
Okay. So seems a lot more serious than some of our other podcasts, with a little bit more lighthearted. But I just think it's really interesting. And you're Muslim, right, Hassan?
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, I would say in the last 20 years or so, maybe not now as much, but maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, would probably be the most controversial time for the relationship between the Muslim community and the British military.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
How do you think that is that was that a big thing, or
it was huge?
How do you think that affected your job?
It didn't really affect my job. We did touch a little bit on it.
Yeah, the
basically
Arab guy.
I was known as the Arab guy. So even though I wore the British uniform, I didn't really fit in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and on top of that, when you were in Iraq and Afghanistan and various other Arab nations that I worked in, you didn't fit in there either.
Yeah, that makes sense.
in the British Army. Do you know what I mean?
The enemy,
So it
or
was just
like,
like,
yeah, a traitor or whatever.
yeah. I mean, when I was in Lebanon, for instance, I couldn't go around telling people that I was in the British Army. I'd get shot.
Yeah. Classic
Ma- ma-
Lebanese.
you know? No, I wouldn't get shot, but people would definitely not like it. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way.
Definitely.
You know?
You get like weird looks, obviously.
Even when I've been to Egypt, and I was not in uniform then, and yeah, even there I didn't really fit in. But I mean, as a Lebanese guy in Egypt, they saw me as I don't know, like literally. Well, every Egyptian knows that Lebanese is always about, you know, great women and great food.
Party.
Yes,
It's
sir.
the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And also TV, because most successful TV shows in the Arab world come from Lebanon.
And Egypt.
Um,
Well, like
And
at least
Egypt.
movies.
and
And Egypt, to be fair.
yeah, of course, they're the top two countries with regards to media and music.
Mm.
When it comes, I mean, you don't hear like a famous Haifa Wehbi from Iraq, you know what I mean? So yeah, back to the question. I never really fitted in, put it that way. I mean, but it can go the other way too. So there's a lot of like English people who didn't like the fact that I was a soldier, and
Yeah.
and they didn't even know me. They didn't even know my name. They just did not like British soldiers.
Yeah.
It's only in the past, say, 10 years, and I left in 2015.
Yeah.
So I'd say only the past 5 years where people are like showing more gratitude and more respect, especially with the Armed Forces Day and the Help for Heroes and all these challenges. Look at the that Captain Tom, who
Captain
was
Thomas
a World
More.
War
Yeah.
II veteran, you know, and he walked all that stuff. No one really cared about him. He was just a regular guy, and now suddenly he's a knight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He
I
met
get what
the
you
Queen
mean.
and everything.
And no,
So-
but you know, for what you were saying about the question that Ahmed asked about how it's affected you, didn't it, like, your last name basically stopped you from getting into that higher classification of documents? Can you tell us
Yeah,
about that?
no, there's like security clearances, and
Yeah,
yeah,
security
I
clearances.
couldn't really get that
Just because of your last name, just because you were a Fawaz.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's fine. It didn't really bother me. I could have got it in the end. They
yeah,
did offer it after they realized who I actually was and what I'd done. But by that stage, if it didn't work out the first time, it's like a relationship. Don't bother trying to make it work. Just end it there and then. It didn't work out the first
relationship
time.
advice from
It's
Hassan
not going to
Fawaz.
work out the second time. Simple as that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll add this, but we also have a cousin who, didn't she say that you betrayed you betrayed the Arab world by joining the British Army?
Yeah, and that's my own family. My own family, she hated me. She was literally like, "You're a baby killer" and all this stuff. I'm like, "What babies did I kill? What the hell are you on about?" You know what I mean? Fuck, I'm
Abortion.
not messing around. What the fuck are you on?
Worse than a
I was like,
pro-lifer.
"You don't even know me."
This is the first time you talked to her. Right?
I spoke to her on the phone. Oh, you're Hassan, the guy who's going to join the British Army. Well, you are a baby killer. How dare you betray your own kind? Whoa, I haven't even been to Iraq yet. Let me go.
Who is this?
I'd rather not say that.
Yeah, let's not say the name.
Yeah, of course.
Ask me another time.
Well,
But I'd still, you know, I would never, like, joining the army, the fact that you get to travel the world, you get to meet some fantastic people. It's just irrelevant of the fact that I was
Yeah.
an Arab. It was still a fantastic experience.
Yeah. So would you encourage people to join the army, or do you not have like an opinion on that, or?
I think if you are a teenager who is going down the bad route, definitely join. The army will
Straightens
sort
you
you
up.
right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just toughens you right up. It teaches you self-discipline. I mean, it teaches you loyalty. It teaches you commitment.
A lot of skills.
It makes you
Yeah.
do things properly. it makes you strive to be a better all the time. It's so competitive,
Yeah.
and it's definitely worth it.
Mm.
No, I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it to anybody, even if you join the territorial army, the reserves.
So if
Don't
someone
do it, you might even like it.
if someone did join the army, do you have any advice that you would give to like a new recruit?
Don't get shot.
Don't get shot.
There's no shooting happening at these days, anyways.
Yeah. It's all peaceful pussies.
I'll spin.
Irrelevant of the challenge, never give up.
That's good advice.
Just don't give up. Just don't give up, because there were so many times. Do you want to know what my alarm was in the army when I first joined? For the first 6 weeks, the guys that I was sharing a room with literally hated me. You want to know what my actual song that I used to wake up to every morning at 6 a.m. was?
What?
Michael Bublé, Home.
That was your alarm.
That was my alarm.
doing a wee bit of a bop to that. Were they enjoying it?
Say again?
Were they getting up dancing to that?
Definitely not. They were hating it, but it woke us up.
It worked.
The wise words of Michael Bublé.
Yeah, and all he's going on is like, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home.
What a
So
troll,
basically,
man.
the reason why I chose that was literally because I knew when training was over, when you finish your basic training, you can go home. So never give up. Finish what you started.
Moving forward,
Yeah, moving forward.
I wanna, because it's a bit of a plug as well, but recently you started writing. You've written already 2 books, right?
Yes.
Published author.
Basically, obviously, with coronavirus and being completely alone on my flat, I thought, you know what? Let me do something that I can do. I've got a laptop. I was like, let me write a book.
Masturbate.
Okay.
I've got a laptop. I've got some lotion.
Yeah,
No,
I got internet. Happy days.
Happy.
Chill out 3 months. Throw myself around. Yeah. No. I was sitting here. I don't have a musical instrument, so I was like, what can I do that I've never done before? And I thought, well, let me write a book. So I wrote a book. It is a fiction-based book called "When the Shoes Fit," and all it is a very brief insight in brief summary. Is basically a bunch of people around the world who come across these special shoes that were made by the creator. And like I said, it is a fiction, and each shoe has a different life cycle, and it gives you a special ability, like not like a super power, like Iron Man or Captain Marvel or something like that. It's just like one will give you wealth, one gives you long life, one gives you the ability to see the last dying moment of somebody, things like that. It gives you like different things. And it's basically which shoe would you choose, and also how the story just comes all together. And it even keeps it open for a potential second one. I did it as a challenge to myself. That's the only reason why I wrote that book.
Which is very impressive because,
sounds quite interesting as well.
Yeah.
Very nice idea.
It's available on Amazon, and is it on Amazon? On all Amazons?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah, it's on all the Amazons worldwide. And yeah,
Everyone cop.
It's I'm not gonna lie, it's self-published. I edited it myself. I tried to do the best that I can. I've gone through various programs. I'm not gonna go and pay some guy to literally go and edit it. I just literally use the power of technology. I think I'm like 99% there. If it ever becomes successful and somebody wants to,
no, but it's very, very, very impressive though, because like I remember when we used to see each other like from behind the gate or like behind the door
Yeah.
when you used to come and visit, and we'd
Yeah.
get and you'd every time you'd come, like you'd say, yes, I've done like 30,000 words today or whatever, or like this week. And like I was like, oh my god, like I'm not even doing my EPQ, which is like 5,000 words. You've already done 10,000. Oh my god! But
but
it
I
was
mean,
very
that's
impressive,
something
and the idea is very creative, which is
Yeah, no, it was epic. I'm not going to lie. It was a challenge. It is very difficult. I mean, typing is not difficult. It's literally having the willpower to sit in front of your laptop and actually type.
and continue typing.
Because also, this is probably the most important to anybody who's looking at writing a book. Never write a book if you do not know what the ending is going to be. Because it's all great starting a story. That's what Game of Thrones did. That's why the series has ended, and the guy hasn't finished writing the books. He doesn't know how the bloody thing's gonna end. And I read all these books, and I'm thinking to myself, how's this thing gonna end? How do you bring it back all together?
Is that your mythology? Methodology is that you start from the end and you go back from the end, from the beginning to the beginning.
I always say, what is it you want to write about, and how is it going to end? Just answer those two questions. The middle will all come into place. How do you want it to end? You want it to be a sad ending? You want it to be a good ending? You want it to keep it open for a potential sequel? You know, you just need to know how it's going to end, because anybody can write a story, can start writing a story. The question is, where does the story end?
That's very good.
So yeah, and then so that was the first book, and it ended up being 52,000 words. I did it in 6 weeks.
MashaAllah.
I spent about 2 weeks of it editing it and just sorting out the format, and just proofreading it over and over and over and over and over again. And yeah, it took me, like I said, about 8 weeks in total, so 2 months to write down 45,
that's very impressive.
Of words, 200 pages.
And then in the second book, you took a bit of a different like route, a different like it's a different style of writing, because it's not really the book that you've just released, the newest one. It doesn't even have your name on it, so you don't even give yourself credit for it. Because I remember you brought it in today, and we saw it, and it's literally titled "The Book About You," right?
Yes.
So it is literally a book about you. Just explain what like the whole concept was and why you went down that route for the next book.
When I joined the military, one of the things that we needed to do was actually write a diary about our day. Okay? Yeah. And every week, our sergeant has to read that you fill it out. If you're not been filling it out, you're going to get into trouble. The problem is that's your mission. That is basically, you need to sit down and write down what you've done that day. Okay?
Yeah.
But before, and I thought to myself, before I was given that task, would I have ever sat down and write something about me? No, that was my answer. I wouldn't sit. When was the last time you actually, I mean, you guys probably do more often than me, but you reach a certain stage in your life and you're thinking, when am I going to grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down something? Yeah. So I came up with the book about you. And it literally is the book about you. So I don't have my name on it. No, I do on the first book, but not on this one. And the reason being is I wanted this to be a complete different book. This is I would call it an interactive book, where me, the author, has come up with a list of 100 questions. Some of them are funny, some of them are serious, some of them are broad, some of them are very narrow, but all the book says is you've got 50 words right under each question that I ask you, and the reason for this is so that you can understand who you are. That's why it's called the book about you. Let's just say you're 21, and let's just say some guy says, tell me something about you.
Yeah.
You know, you sit there and you go, "What the hell do you want me to tell them?" You know. But then you can always remember. Oh, remember the book about you, like that. When I wrote down, it's a series of questions that are perfectly designed for you to think
Yeah.
and to think about you,
Yourself.
you as the person.
Yeah, because you in this
I
in
mean-
this modern world where like there's so much distraction, so much different things, social media, and like looking at other people, you don't really take that moment to actually look at yourself other than in the mirror, and actually,
And that's the thing.
yeah, really go deep inside your mind, and like the questions that I saw that you wrote down really like help develop that thinking of like what am I gonna be, and on that note as well. Like in the future as well, you can compare it to how you were then and how you are now, and how different experiences shaped you.
Basically what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
Is that
It's
if
very
somebody
interesting.
goes and buys the book about you, they can even give it to their children one day and say, "This is what I wrote when I was 21." And on the front page, it says the book about you, obviously, and then you turn it over and it says, "For you, the reader." Okay, it doesn't say names, it doesn't say anything. It's not designed to. It's simple, there's no graphics. It's just questions that get to understand who you are. And it's the book about you. I should have called it maybe the book about me, but I thought that was a bit arrogant.
No, the book about you sounds a bit better. Slips out the tongue.
Yeah. And that was basically what I wanted to do. It's an interactive book, makes you think instead of, "Oh, look at me, I'm great, and this is who I am," which is what social media is all about.
Yeah. Well done, cuz. Hassan, like with your name, obviously you've had some troubles at the airport. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, I've got two, and I'm going to tell you that they are both equally as funny. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, no, I've got three. Three, because one happened to
Three?
your brother. So, yeah, I've got three stories of that.
Oh, it's one of them when you guys went on the lads trip to the Las Vegas for a bachelor.
Yeah.
I
So,
wish I was
obviously,
in that trip though. I wish I was old enough.
Man, it was epic. It was epic. It was truly an epic journey. Anyways, okay, let's start with the first one. The first one was I just come back from Iraq, like literally flying back from Iraq. Okay. After I finished my tour, I went to South Africa on holiday. Okay. No, I come back from Afghanistan. I went backpacking for a month, Southeast Asia. Okay, so I did Thailand, Cambodia, all those places. On my way back from Bangkok to London, and I've got my military backpack because that's what I was backpacking with. I mean, what better bag to take other than the fact that and I get to the at the time it wasn't like you can scan your passport and stare at the camera and there you go. You needed to stand in the line and speak to the immigration officer.
The good old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Got my British passport, obviously. I go, I'm next. There's this big, fat, Asian, Indian guy. Okay, he was definitely Indian, okay? And he looks at me and he's like, where are you coming from? Or where are you coming from or whatever? And I said to him, coming back from Bangkok. And then he's like, okay, what is your purpose of visit? I said, what are you talking about, mate? I'm coming back home. He's like, this is your home? I said, yes. As you can see, I have my British passport and I'm in the British Army, as you can see by my backpack, and here's my military ID, and I'm coming back home. And he goes, okay, no problem. Gives me back my passport and he says, welcome to my country. I'm like, I just left Bangkok, mate.
Welcome to my country as a British Army soldier.
Yeah.
Welcome to my country. MashaAllah.
I'm thinking to myself, did I just land in Delhi?
Oh my God, Hassan.
So I was like, what the hell, man? Anyway, that was story number one. Story number two was I'm flying. We're on a training exercise in Arizona in America So we're flying 20 soldiers. All of us are soldiers. We're all wearing normal civilian clothing, but we are covered with camo stuff because we've got all our military kit. But we
Yeah.
were flying with the civilian airline. We were not flying with the military airline. So we land in, I think it was Phoenix or Tucson, one of those two. I think it was Phoenix. The immigration officer stands there, and I'm with 20 soldiers. And like I said, I'm covered with ammo stuff. And the American immigration officer turns around to me and he says, "What's your purpose for coming here?" So I said to him, you see these 19 guys? And he's like, "Yes." I said, "I'm with them. We're here on an exercise with the Americans. I'm a British soldier, and we're training with your equipment because we're going to be using it in 2 months' time in Afghanistan. That's why I'm here." "Okay, sir. I'd appreciate it if you calm down and you'd follow me, please." What the fuck is this about, mate? Now the guys obviously are all army lads. They're making fun of me. They know what's going down here. They know my name is Hassan Fawaz.
Racially profiled.
So off I go, sit in this office, literally no one else, glass all around. I'm waiting for some guy to come and talk to me. The head of the immigration guy comes down and he says to me, "Can I have your passport, please?" I was like, yeah, sure. Starts sitting down and he starts typing on his computer and whatnot.
Computer
And he
says
said-
no.
Yeah, and he said, "What's your purpose for visit, mate?" So I said, "Listen, I told your colleague, I'm here with the other 20 guys who you let in perfectly fine other than me. So clearly there is something wrong with either your system or me. So what is it?" Like literally. And he's like, "There's no need to get rowdy and whatever." I'm just like, "I'm not getting rowdy. I
Calm
just
your balls.
feel like I'm being picked on,
Yeah.
mate." I said to him, "Listen, mate, I feel like I'm being picked on." And I think it's got to do with the fact that my name is Hassan Fawaz. So anyways, he gets to understand me. He's like, "Oh, you," and then it turns out that I actually worked with his friend who was also in the US Army, but I worked with him in Iraq before. So it ends up being a 2-hour conversation, and bearing in mind the other 19 guys are literally waiting for me. And they turn around and they say, "Oh, so no worries, mate. You can carry on through." So I said, "Okay, so why did you stop me?" "According to my system, there is another Hassan Fawaz who's on our terrorist watch list."
Oh my
So I said-
god.
And you think, I said to him, and you think that this other Hassan Fawaz is just going to willingly come to America knowing full well that he might be on the terrorist list?
I
said-
mean,
Oh my god, mate. But that's the Americans. Everything. I mean, I was watching this comedian on Netflix, and he's literally summed it up in one sentence. Everything the Americans do, they do it big. And that includes stupidity.
they do it big.
Everything is just done so much bigger. The second time is even better. I'm going to Vegas.
The third time.
The third time, sorry. The third time is even better because I'm going to Vegas and I am the whitest out of all of us. We've got
that's so
a
true.
Moroccan. We've got a black guy. We've got 2 Asian guys. We've got a Pakistani guy. We've got a Bangladeshi. We've got a Lebanese guy. And I'm the whitest. I'm a soldier. You can see it. I've got my army ID with me. I go in. I'm flying to Las Vegas. First, we were meant to be going Atlanta, I think, first. Yeah. I'm all excited. It's a bachelor's party. All the lads. Yeah, happy days. Get to the immigration. Sorry, your visa's been declined. I said, "Excuse me?" It's like, "Yeah, your visa's been declined." I'm like, "There must be something wrong here." They said to me, no, please come with me. Ended up sitting the same interview with a different guy for 2 hours. My plane takes off. The guys are loving it because they've gone through fine. They've been let into America. But the British soldier, who has a British passport, who's in the British Army, no, he stays behind. He does. The guy sent me, it was so painful. Now, obviously, I was so excited to be going on this bachelor's thing, stag do. and they send me a picture of my empty seat. Once I'm in the waiting
Just to
room.
take the piss.
And they're like, cheers, Hassan. And I'm thinking, you
Couldn't have done it
bastard.
without you.
Yeah, basically. So they end up going to Atlanta. And this American dude pops back in. He says, yeah, sorry about that. There's been clearly some sort of mistake. We really apologize. Don't worry, though. We're going to get you to Vegas.
Another
You've got
Hassan
two
on the
options.
terrorist list.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. He did not tell me about the terrorist list. He didn't say why. They just said there was something wrong with your visa application.
Mm.
Even though I'd been to America a year before. Like literally within 1 year, I was in America twice.
Yeah.
So surely you must have been curious about this other.
I've been to
Hassan
America
Fawaz.
3 times, mate. I've been to America 3 times, okay? 1 time only, hassle-free. The rest, perfect. It was missions. It was simple as that. The second time I was in DC, it was fine. The third time was when I went to Vegas, and that was a major cock-up. So
Yeah.
the guy says to me, you've got 2 options, mate. We can check you into our hotel. You get free dinner, you get free breakfast, and then we'll get you on the flight early in the morning. So I was like, what time will I land in Vegas? Oh, you're going to be quite late. You're only going to land at 11 o'clock at night. So I said, listen, mate, I'm going to Vegas for 4 nights. Make a plan to get me there sooner. Okay, we'll fly you, if you want, we can fly you tonight to New York, and then you can land in Vegas at 11 a.m. So I was like, oh, brilliant. So I get there before the other guys do. Let me do that then. Let me go for a free night in New York. So off I
Oh
go.
my god.
For myself a flight. I'm in New York. Eventually get to Vegas before the other guys and end up having a cracking holiday.
Didn't you fall?
Nice.
Wait, was it you or
Did you fall asleep
In
in
the
the
subway?
metro?
Oh, mate, that was insane. So obviously, I was so excited. I've never been to New York in my life. I was like, I'm gonna go see the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty. I'm gonna go down Wall Street, not Wall Street. What's
Yeah,
that?
Wall Street.
Times Square.
Grand Central. No, Grand Central.
Times Square.
Time.
Times Square.
You're
Yeah,
getting
Times
confused
Square.
with Birmingham and New York. Grand Central.
Yeah, I know, right?
Nah, I swear
Yeah,
there's a
that's
Grand
what I
Central
thought.
in New York as well.
Oh yeah, there
There's one,
is.
yeah.
Not just Brum.
There is.
Nah, if you think about it, it's actually mad similarity because you know, like the Boring Bull, like you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the Wall
that's-
Street Bull as
Wall
well.
Street Bull,
Yeah,
Mate,
lots of similarities.
Birmingham.
If you also look at the way the station's been done, it's been done like Chicago.
Yeah, the
There
bean,
is,
the
you know,
bean.
that reflection.
Yeah.
Wait.
So, yeah, I end up being in New York. So I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. Obviously, they speak English. So, yeah, I don't need to get any maps or anything. So I get to New York. I've got I had 16 hours before my next flight. So I thought, you know what? In that 16 hours, and bearing in mind, I've been awake the whole day in the UK, and I'm landing there at night. So, and I hate flying. Believe it or not, it's my deepest fear. And I've spent, I don't even know how many hours in the air. But anyways, get to New York, catch the train, go into the city. And I'm walking, and New York is so big. I made this stupid mistake. I still have it on my record, on my phone, how many steps I did. That day, I did 42,000 steps. It was insane. I walked from the Statue of Liberty to Times Square to Empire State Building. I saw it all in one night. The whole red carpet thing, saw all the stars on the ground, the Hall of Fame. And then I was like, oh, mate, let me start heading back to the airport. So I managed to catch the underground, but I was exhausted, so I fell asleep. And I had my military bag. That's all I had on me, my military bag. But I obviously was going to Vegas, so I was like wearing jewelry, I had my sunglasses, even though it was on my cap, everything. And I will never forget that I ended up at Jamaica Station. I think it's called Jamaica Station. I missed my shot. Basically, I stopped where the train stopped.
Man thought he was
Okay.
in Jamaica,
Mate,
the Bahamas.
I'm not gonna lie. after spending time in Iraq and Afghanistan, I was more scared outside Jamaica Station than I've ever been in my life. So I get up, I'm like awake now. I'm like, where the fuck am I? Go out the station. The first thing I see is broken bottles. And then I see this guy literally throwing a bottle across the road at somebody else. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is definitely not my station.
This is not JFK Airport.
Yeah. The good news is I can see in the distance planes, and I need to get there. So I take my necklace out, I put it in my bag, I take my cap, I put it to the side like I'm a sort of gangster. Luckily, it was a flat cap. I've got my military day sack, I'm wearing shorts and t-shirts, and I'm just like, no one's gonna fuck with me. Fuck it, whatever comes my way. Pull over to this guy. I said to him, mate, do you know where I can pick up a taxi? He's like, man, never gonna catch a taxi at this time of the day. I was like, it's actually night, but anyway. Yeah. He ends up being a total crackhead. And eventually I saw a yellow cab and I was just like, stop! Hey, how much is it to JFK? You charge me whatever the fuck you want. Just get me there. When ended up getting back to JFK. And that was that story, mate. That was insane.
That's crazy, man.
You got you got like 1,010 stories. We could like do this for like 5 hours.
So Hassan, obviously, like in the military, you get shot at. What was your first experience like being shot at?
I'll tell you the first time it actually happened. So it was I think it was like my third week in Afghanistan, and basically we were getting shot at, but basically it happened so quickly, so it's very hard to explain. So we were in the middle of a field, and a guy popped around a compound, and there it's like massive compounds, these massive walls, and all I saw was the shade of black about 300, 250 meters away, and he was just shooting at us basically. And I'm thinking, oh my god, what was that? But at the time I had a grenade launcher attached to my weapon.
Oh my god.
Okay. So I was just like, I need to get rid of this weight because the grenades weigh quite a bit and my bag is getting really heavy, and all I want to do is just get back to base. So when I saw this black shady figure shooting at me, I literally just turned around and roughly aimed in the distance that he was shooting at, and I shot a grenade from the grenade launcher. And then everything just went quiet. Like literally everyone stared at me like, why are you shooting, Hassan? So I was like, why am I shooting? It was your job, the infantry, to shoot people. And that's not my job. That's not my job. I'm not here to shoot people. Like literally, I'm doing your job. So anyways, where the grenade landed was a major cock up.
Oh no.
Basically ended up killing a cow.
Oh, come on, Hassan, man.
We're having steak tonight, boys.
We're eating good tonight.
This cow didn't really.
We'll get him next time.
We'll get him next time. Bravo 6 down.
That sounds like something out of 4 Lions, man.
Yeah, basically, it was like that.
Jesus.
What happened afterwards?
So the farmer comes here. Comes out now because now he's fucking complaining we just shot his cow, and he wants compensation because he was going to sell that cow to make money, which is fair enough. So now the captain gets given money to obviously dish out accordingly in the event of these instances. So they get the interpreter, and ends up costing us $300 US
for one cow.
We knew the guy was ripping us off. Yeah, we knew the guy was ripping us off.
Especially an Afghan cow. Like, come on, man. Where
Exactly,
do you think?
man.
We're not in like Belgium having Belgian cows.
That was my first experience of getting shot in Afghanistan, mate. That was so funny, and I ended up costing Yeah.
$300.
My captain, $300 for blowing up a cow that we couldn't even eat.
Thank you, Hassan, for joining us for this episode and coming in and sharing some personal stories and making us laugh with your experiences and making us think as well. Please be sure to check out his book.
Man.
Link in description. It's all over Amazon, wherever you get it, whatever country you live in. It's on Amazon. Thank you, Ahmed, for joining us later on. And thank you, Adam, as well, for bearing with my patience again. Hope you don't say
Thanks,
Burtuka
guys,
this
for
time.
having me on the show.
Anytime.
Our pleasure.
Obviously, I want to try and get the cousins all in one episode, inshallah. I don't know how that will be possible, but there's obviously like a really like strange but funny dynamic between like our cousins. So that's why I think
You know
it'll be
who we
like
need
really...
to get? You know who we need to get on the pod?
Who?
The other Hassan Fawaz.
The other,
This
the terrorist.
brother that you
The
keep
no-fly
getting
zone
confused
list.
with.
Yeah, yeah. That guy would be. If you can get hold of him, please, that would be much nicer.
Nah. Imagine for him though, but it's like every time he goes to like ISIS like training camps, they get confused with you. And he's like, yeah, I'm back to being like a British soldier.
You are a traitor already. Why are you here?
Nah. But yeah, Hassan
that was
Fawaz, if you're
hilarious.
listening to this and you want to come on the podcast, just drop us a DM. You're welcome anytime. Thank you guys for listening and see you in the next episode. Peace.
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 Burtuka.